Okay, it is nearing the end of January, and I know many of us are thinking, how did we get here? We just had Christmas, we just had New Year, and now we're like almost to Valentine's Day. And that's a situation for some of us. What I want to say is, in the late days of January, I think, I can't speak for everybody, I'm going to speak for me. What has happened to me is all the New Year expectations that I had are now being put into perspective. And I can truly say that I am amongst the number of individuals that reflect on the year before and then make goals of sort for the following year. And I have no shame in that because I have goals, okay? In that, I think what happens, at least for me, is there's a point in time when I have strived for the things that I wanted to see, and then I get hit with some realities over why I never did them in the past. And that's where I am today. And that's where I was last week, if I'm honest. I was kind of hit in the face with the realities of the things that I had said that I was going to do this year usually don't happen because of the things that I'm now facing. And so I was reading John and the whole scripture about the vine, like hit me today in a way that it has never hit me before. And as you guys know, that's where I find my beacon of light. I find it in the Word. So I'm going to take you there because if you're in a season like me where you set a goal and now you're questioning, like, did I do the right thing? The answer is yes. And I want to take you to the source and get you some help. Like it helped me. So John 15, 1-4, it says, I am the vine. Just kidding. John 15, 1-4. I am the true vine, and my Father is the gardener. He cuts off every branch in me that bears no fruit, while every branch that does bear fruit, he prunes so that it will be even more fruitful. You are already clean because of the word I have spoken to you. Remain in me, and I will remain in you. I specifically remember reading this, around the time in 2020, whenever, life changed for all of us forever and ever. And during that time, found myself like many people with, some extra time on my hands. And I picked up gardening. And it was short-lived. And I can truly say that today, I am the true mother of a few houseplants. But gardening did not last for me. What I can appreciate about this passage is that there is a true work ethic that we can see from God. A true gardener is dedicated to the garden, whether or not it is scorching outside or an ice storm. All it took for me was a couple 103-degree temperatures before I knew that this was not the right field for me, literally or figuratively. An experienced gardener knows the exact time to plant. He tends to the garden even when there is no sign of life above ground. He knows the exact season to expect and harvest, and he has a specific method of caregiving. I think it's so interesting that God will use something so basic yet intricate to explain his approach to caretaking. I'm learning that there are 3 things that cannot grow with me. 1, comfortability. I have had to learn that if I want to do something I've never done before, the goals that I set are things I've never done in my past, I have to be willing to be uncomfortable. Uncomfortable is different than insecure. Insecure means we are detached from the thing that gives us our identity and is our source. I am not detached from God. I am inexperienced. And that is different than being anxious. That's different than being worried. We see in this passage specifically that it says that God will prune the good parts. God will prune what's fruitful. But comfortability really is something that can't go with us in the next season. If we're doing something we've never done before, it's definitely going to cause us to get out of the zone that seems most comfortable. Number 2 is complacency. Complacency isn't always the areas of our life that aren't fruitful. In the scripture, we can specifically see that God says he prunes the things that are not fruitful, but he cuts away the things that are not fruitful, but he prunes the things that are bearing fruit so they can bear more. And complacency for me has been for sure in an area of my life where I've experienced success. I've experienced success in my family. I have an amazing husband. I have 2 beautiful kids. And it's easy for me to think, okay, things are good. In my career, I've experienced success. I have written books and I've started a counseling practice and things are going really well. But I know this is a year that God is asking me to go further. And so watching God cut those things, prune those things that I thought were good is honestly me watching God put it up against his standard and show me that there is more that he wants. And he wants to see us flourish. Number 3, connection. The very last part of John 15, 1-4 talks about remaining in him. I have a friend that I don't think there's anything that she wouldn't do. Like, she is so bold. Every time we're out, if there's ever a place that I'm like, I don't know if that we can sit there. I don't know that we're supposed to go through that door. She's like, well, let's see. And when we're walking with God, I can definitely say that there are times when I'm like, I don't know that I'm supposed to go there, Lord. But staying connected to God, especially in seasons where we're doing things we've never done before, is vital to our growth. We have to trust the gardener. He knows what he's doing. He has been through every season. There's nothing new under the sun to him. So walking and staying with our gardener is so important in seasons of growth. 3 things that cannot grow with you: comfortability, complacency, and losing connection. We are in the hands of Eden's groundkeeper and maker. In this season, take those expectations that you have to the Lord. Know that being uncomfortable is a part of the process, and watch what God does with your sacrifice, with your offering, with what matters to you. And let's be fruitful in this season.